Okay, in the 2.2 worksheet, we're still going to be working with quadratics and how quadratics move. Remember, this is the basic quadratic. It's just y equals x squared, and it makes this nice little parabola that goes through 0, 0. That's our vertex. Right, just makes this nice little u. For review, I'm just going to ask, if I have y equals x squared, and then after it I put plus 3, where's that vertex going to move? You should have said up 3, right? So our vertex goes from 0, 0 to 0, 3. Okay, right, it just moves up 3. Remember, if we have y equals x squared minus 5, it's going to be down here. That vertex is going to move down here. It's going to be this nice u. Our vertex is going to be at 0, or yeah, 0, negative 5. A little more review. When we have parentheses, when we have parentheses, x minus 3, we're going to square that. It goes to the right 3. Remember, when we have in parentheses, we think opposite. So if we have minus 3 in the parentheses, we're going to go right 3. If we had y equals x plus 4, we're going to square that. Where's that vertex going to move? Is it going to move right, or is it going to move left? You should say left 4. Oh, forgot the equal sign. Right there. Okay. Remember, if we had a negative in front of it, it would flip it upside down. If we have a number that's bigger in front of that, watch this red graph, watch how it moves. Makes it skinnier, right? And if we have a number less than 1, it makes it wider, right? 1/5, 1/10, look how wide that gets. Okay, so these are all the characteristics of the quadratics, and today we're going to be focusing on how to graph these things. If we were to be graphing this y equals x squared, an easy way to do that would just be make an x and y chart. Okay, where we want some numbers on x in the negative side, and we want some positive x numbers. So I'm going to take negative 2, negative 1, I'm going to say 0, 1, and 2. And with negative 2, when we throw that in for x squared, what's negative 2 squared? We should get 4, right? So if I go to negative 1, 2, oh, up 1, 2, 3, 4, look at that right there. When I square negative 1, I get 1. So at negative 1, it's 1. When I square 0, it's obviously going to be 0. And when I square 1, it should be a 1. And then again at 4, 2, 4. Let's graph something like this. Y equals x squared minus 3. And I want you to think, where's that vertex going to be? Where's that vertex going to go? It's going to move left, right, up, or down. And you should have said down. Our vertex is now going to be, I'll use blue here, at 0, negative 3. Okay, which is nice. And it doesn't go left or right. It's just going to be right here. This is our vertex, right? So our vertex is at 0, negative 3. Okay, and if I were to graph this, let's get an XY chart. And again, I want some negatives and positives, so I'm going to go negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, and 2. I'm just going to plug these x's into that variable. When negative 2 is squared, we get 4. But then we have to subtract 3. 4 minus 3 is 1. So at negative 2, we should be at 1. Okay? I'll use blue. When negative 1 is squared, we'll get 1. 1 minus 3 is negative 2. We're at -1, we're going to be at -2. Do I even have to think about the rest mathematically? I really don't, okay, because we have this thing called the axis of symmetry, where if we go to our red graph, any point up here, let's take our point -2, 4, right here, we are 2 spaces away from that green line. Well, if we go to that green line and go over 2 spaces, we're going to be at our next spot. Okay, so let's go back to our blue line. Our axis of symmetry stays the same because our vertex is 0, -3. That blue dot is 2 points away from the axis of symmetry, so if I go over 2 more, that's our next point. If I go over 1 here, go over 1, and then we're back to 0. So if I were to graph that, it'd be something like that. Okay? We can check our work, we can type it in. Okay, and it's that black line. I got a little wayward right here. That's fine. That's fine. As long as you have these points down here and you can graph through those points, that's all I really care about. Let's graph this one. Okay. Now I want you to think, where's that vertex going to move? You should say, right here, makes it go left 3 and up 2. So we should be at a point, left 3, -1, 2, 3, up 1, 2. There's our vertex. There's our vertex. Our vertex is at -2, 3. Oh, sorry, -3, 2. Oops. -3, 2. Now, on your worksheet, you have this thing called the axis of symmetry. Axis of symmetry goes right through that vertex, goes straight down right here on that blue line. There's our axis of symmetry. How do we call that? What do we call that line? Our axis of symmetry is this line right here. Oh. X equals -3. X equals -3, right? And it makes sense because our vertex is at -3, 2. What's our x value? It's -3. So our axis of symmetry, x equals -2. Now let's graph it. Okay, I need x and y's. Okay, I need to be to the left of that line, red line, and to the right of that red line. So let's graph, let's say -4, or -5, -4, -3, -2, and -1. Okay, and plug these numbers in. When we have -5 plus 3, we'll get -2. -2 squared is 4, and 4 plus 2 is 6. So at -5, we should be at 6. Right there. We plug -4 in, -4 plus 3, that's -1, -1 squared, that's 1, 1 plus 2, that's 3. So at -4, we're at 1, 2, 3. Okay, now, do I even have to think mathematically for the other ones? No, because I know 2, 2, right there. 3, sorry. Okay, 1, 1, there's our graph. Looks something like that. Okay, and I can plug this in. Y equals, in parentheses, x where are we, plus 3? Plus 3 squared, and then plus 2. And there we go, we got our graph. Okay. So I think you guys should be good on the graphing part. We're just plugging in x and y's after we find our vertex. I want to focus more on the axis of symmetry here. If I had a line, y equals 4 times x plus 2 minus 3, that's squared right there. I want to think, where's my vertex? Okay, where's my vertex? You should say that moves it left 2, and this moves it up 3. So if I'm at 0, 0, I'm going to go left 2, and I'm going to go up 3. So it should be at negative 2, 3. There's my vertex. My axis of symmetry is wherever my x value is on my vertex. So axis of sim should be x equals negative 2. Okay, x equals negative 2. Okay, you have one problem on your worksheet that looks a lot like this. It says y equals, let's see here, 2x squared minus 4x plus 3. Okay? And you look at that and say, Mr. Hicks, I don't know where that moves. That doesn't make any sense to me. It's because we haven't gone over that yet. I'm going to go over it right now. To find the vertex of this graph, these are labeled. The number out front is A, this second number is B, and the third number is C. So the 2 is A, the 4 is B, and the 3 is C. Okay, or actually it's, sorry, 2, negative 4, and negative 3. Okay, to find the vertex, we use this formula right here. We say negative B over 2A. Okay, so negative B, well, my B is negative 4, so I have a negative 4 over my 2 times A, which is 2 times 2, because A is 2. Okay, do this math, we should get a positive 4, so 4 over 4, which equals 1. Okay, so that is what my x equals. X equals 1. Somewhere around there, okay? Now, I need to find my y. You find your y by plugging in x. So you plug in 1 into each of those variables. So we have 2, I'll do it over here, 2 times 1 squared minus 4 times 1 minus 3, and we'll get 2 minus 4 minus 3. 2 minus 4 is negative 2, minus 3 is negative 5. So our vertex is at 1, negative 5. So 1, negative 5, which should be right down here. Okay? There's our vertex. Okay. The graph, we should know that with that 2 up front, it's going to be a little skinny. But to graph this thing, we'd have to plug in an x and y chart. Let me just pull this up here so you can see what this graph will look like. We have y equals 2x squared minus 4x minus 3. Okay, we got our vertex right there. All right. Let's say we were graphing this. Okay, Okay, we found our vertex. To graph this, we just do it the same way. We have x, we have y. Okay, I want to be to the left of my vertex, I want to be to the right, so I could say 0. 0 is always a good number. Okay. Could also say, actually, let's say -1. -1, 0, 1, and 2. When x is at -1, we should get and 3. When x is at -1, plug in -1 right here. We have -1 squared is 1. 1 times 2 is 2. We have -4 times 1, so that's going to be a positive 4. So we have 2 plus 4, which is 6, minus 3, we should get 3. So at -1, we're at 3, which is perfect. When x is 0, it'll be 0 minus 3, which is -3. So 0, -3, which is good. So when I'm at 1, we already found our vertex, we're at 1, -5. Okay, and then my axis of symmetry, x equals 1. So when we're at 2, we should know that 2 and 0 have the same vertex, -3. We should know that 3 and -1 have the same vertex, which is 3. So at 2, we're at -3. There's our graph. Okay, that should be enough info for you. If you have any questions, please reach out. Sorry, I just dropped my eraser. But that's it.